When we got back to a rest area, I was a little hesitant about seeing anyone at that time. I still felt the pain of Jack's loss. And there was a little bit of a bonfire where we were, and so I was just sitting by that looking at the bonfire, and then one by one the fellows in the company came up, and they'd just stand there for a moment or two, and then they'd sort of walk away, and in a way they were saying, we're still with you, even though no one said anything.
We had the winter line already. We couldn't go any further. I think each company had 25 men. The rest of them were killed, wounded, or captured. I was one of the lucky ones. I was still able to go on. And we came to the last mountain. We were further out than any other regiment, didn't catch up with us yet. And we were told to hold our lines at all cost. I was the only one left that can handle a machine gun. And I stood at my gun for about 10 to 12 days in knee-deep water, and I kept bailing out the water. It was conditions that you cannot imagine. The hate that builds up on you, that I was just waiting for the Germans to come and to attack us so that I can get some heat from my machine gun. Unfortunately, they didn't. We were finally relieved, and I had to be carried out. I couldn't walk anymore.
We knew the war was going to end, and they had set a time. And as the time got closer, the more afraid you became. Because you said, I lasted this long, am I going to make it?
I recall now my father sending me a bottle of whiskey inside of a loaf of rye bread. And I hadn't touched that bottle of whiskey until the end of the war. I celebrated by myself.
And I said to myself, I guess it was selfish, but I'm glad I made it. And there was no other way I felt. Happy. Everybody was carrying on, drinking, jumping around. Knew it was ended. This was it. We made it.
40th reunion, fellas. The biggest we've ever had.
General Sloan told us that we were going to fight our way to Rome and Berlin and then beyond those cities, all the way around the world to Tokyo. And we knew we could. We didn't think anyone's army could beat us, and we also fought alongside some great allies. When we went up the lines at Cassino, we relieved an English division up there, and there were soldiers from India and France and New Zealand. Guys who had never been further uptown than 14th Street had buddies from Battersea to Calcutta. That was natural, and it started from the time we got on the train to Camp Gruber in Oklahoma. We knew even less about Oklahoma, most of us anyway, than we did about Italy. And that's what makes the reunion so great. You see, we know we have more in common with each other than we do with other people. We have a war in common. You don't refight the war at the reunions. It's a time to brag about your kids and your grandkids. It's more like a family reunion. You get together with people you met under the most extreme circumstances, and you end up joking about it. Underneath the jokes is what you are really sharing at the meetings and at the national reunions. We are sharing the fact that we are the Blue Devils who came home. And there's always a chair, a place at the table for those who didn't come back. They are in our memories, the memories of the good times and the bad times back in the 40s.
I often think about this here soldier that I killed, Under other circumstances, he might have been a good friend, maybe come to this country, like a lot of Germans and Poles and every come to the country who were good citizens. I often think this poor guy was in the same reason of war as I was, probably. I had no like for that war, and I never believed in the war. I didn't believe in any of that stuff that they pushed down my throat about being patriotic. Although I'd fight any man that said I wasn't patriotic. I mean, if he wants to take a chance, but I couldn't see bulldozing us into these damn wars.
I have 3 sons, and they're of different nature. One of my sons is very active. He's a lieutenant commander in the Navy. He is military. The other boys are a little bit more pacifists. And who's right and who's wrong, it's so difficult to say.
And when I got teaching, I was trying to explain to the kids what war is like. And of course, they have this picture of war as they see it in the movies, where everybody's in spotless uniforms and everything's very nice and clean. And you try to tell them it's just the opposite of that. There's sort of an absence of any kind of laws.
In Italy, we just ran loose and we ran crazy because there was no one there to control us. Whatever you wanted to do, you did. You did your duty. After duty, you just went wild.
The experiences that I went through in the war, I wouldn't want to go through again, but I'm glad I did go through them. They made me respect life, and friendships that I made in the 88th have lasted for 45 years.
And to think that sometimes when you do spend 3 years fighting, that you're in favor of a war. I don't think anybody who fought a war would say this is the way to settle problems, fight a war.
Yet there are compensating features for it. Out of the war, I brought myself to a point where I have a number of very, very close friends who are, as far as I'm concerned, really family to me.
And I have a friendship. I developed a lot of friends now. Like, for instance, I'm a member of the 88th Division, and I have a stack of friends.
And when people see the 88th Division sticker, they say, oh, you were with the 88th. My father was with the 88th. And it's a enjoyable thing to know that you come out of a good outfit.
Many times when we were in a bad position on the line, if we had a counterattack, or if we were attacking, or if we were surrounded or flanked or something of that sort, there was always this feeling that it'll be all right. We'll get out of it because this guy or that guy is going to do his job, I'll do mine, we'll be all right. And thank God most of us were.
And like our general said, as long as there's one of us alive, the 88th Division will live.